What's up? Much love. Big time sentiment going out to everybody right now and good vibes. You know what I mean? It's your man, King A.D.S. I'm back at it again with another video. Just trying to get up here and communicate and connect with everybody. And right now it's kind of impulsive. I think this is going to be a pretty short video, but just kind of wanted to touch on a little bit of the perspective of what's taking place right now with that guy. First of all, it's 9/11, so in memorial, in high respects and salutes and love and condolences to all our nation and all the families from the past events that we suffered, and now on into these new times where it's like it just keeps rolling and rolling and rolling, and the pace just keeps picking up. And I want to touch on just a few things that go through my mind when when we encounter these types of incidents, and I'm just trying to do my best up here and connect with that energy and everything. So moving forward, of course, everybody's talking about it and covering it. So I suppose I'll touch on it a little bit too. I'm not that much of a political guy or anything like that. I'm a music guy first and foremost. And if you're here right now, definitely smash the like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, follow me on social media, come along for the ride, as I like to get up on the music journey, but also like to touch on things that invoke thought or conversation or, stuff like that. So, or that I find interesting or strange. And I think this falls into that category. So I'm going to do my best. You know what I mean? So the Charlie Kirk thing and the assassination, and everybody's talking about how it's like you can tell that that could be a sign, an indicator of the breakdown of democracy, which is free speech. Your right to express yourself in different ideologies and opinions, and still be able to, and not resort to violence, right? So you have the floor to speak, and if it is agreed upon, then we will decide by vote, but not by violence and bloodshed, right? So then we have this. But I wanted to also bring up the thing that I would like to touch on that I found weird and interesting about what just took place is the timing of it. um Not only is it right before 9/11, I believe we have some sort of like electoral thing coming up, right? Like, so the electoral times coming up. So we have that. So the timing also is eerie. Also, what's weird is that the last video I just put up expresses how a certain ideology pushes you towards certain actions, right? And if the rules, like, they don't, if a certain personality doesn't like the answer it gets, like the rules and everything, then it seeks to change the rules or to supersede those rules. I'm sorry, in the background, I don't know if you guys heard that, but I guess the trash guy is here and he's taking out the trash, so the dumpster is really loud. So I don't know if you guys heard that, but I apologize if you did. But I'm gonna keep on rolling. But it seeks to change the rules or to bring people down to its level, right? That evil level or that darkness type of level, right? Um, so I found that. Hold on. Man, sorry about that, man. The trash guy just left, but it was super loud and it was like it was taking a real long time. So I just figured I'll just push pause and then come back. But anyway, where I left off, I believe I was trying to touch on a little bit, doing the best I can. Like I said, I know it's not going to be perfect or anything, but just trying to do the best I can and add my perspective to it. But it was just strange to me, the timing of everything, how I was just expressing a similar type of energy that you see play out right there. It just played out. It's really weird how this stuff plays out, and the timing of I don't know, call it being in that slipstream of information or something like that, which I also think is proof of that. I don't think I'm the only one, but I think there's people out here who just kind of get in tune into some kind of groove cosmically or whatever, real time or whatever. And man, the pieces really are strange when they fall into place like that. You know what I mean? In the order that they did. Because in the last video that I shared, that's the type of energy that was expressed. That when a certain type of personality meets roadblocks and is not pleased with the result it gets, it can't take that rejection or find a way to be innovative or be, do it by the rules. It will seek to change the rules or destroy things and sometimes without an answer will resort to that violence and things like that. So I just thought that that was very, very strange on that type of timing. You know what I mean? As far as between the last video that was shared, which was the feeling coming through the ether, and that video that I put up yesterday was not even, that was done a few days before that. You know what I mean? So it's not like I just jumped up there impulsively. That was something that was already set in motion, to share. And then this happens, you know what I'm saying? Like, which that's what makes me pinch myself sometimes. And and shouts to anybody out there who's like, yo, you're in the frequency, you're in that wavelength and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Smash the like button if you are, subscribe if you haven't already. But yeah, man, I mean, what people talk about, the saying that they get these downloads and all these kind of things. Well, I could see it being a possibility because I've shared my experiences in past videos and things like that. And the best way I could describe it, it does kind of like match the description of what people are talking about, saying like you just get bombarded with information or the means to gather that information rapidly, like really rapidly. And that's what happened to me as well. And that's another one of the reasons I was prompted or felt prompted to start trying to share energy, every once in a while, maybe, to share things that are interesting or strange or, a little bit eyebrow raising or just creative, so on and so forth, just to add a bit more size and texture to things. But also within that realm, to be aware, right? As another video it did, be aware that there are like, okay, you have like Nostradamus predictions, you have like, all kinds of stuff like that, the biblical predictions and things like that. And the one that stands out to me, because I'm not the one coming up with the stuff, you know what I mean? But the one that does stand out to me, makes me think about is a time period that would happen in the Americas where the war would touch American soil. So I would have an eyebrow up towards thinking possibly, are we entering that phase now, right? Are some of the things that we're witnessing, I wouldn't say planned as much, but kind of organized in a sense, right? People are saying it's an assassin, for this particular scenario, it was a professional job, so on and so forth. Well, that can fall under a lot of different categories in a lot of different ways. What if someone fears somebody's influence? Other people have said that. Yes, that's one of the immediate things that anyone would say. You would see a lot of other people in the past, go through a scenario like this, right? And so maybe the influence was feared. Maybe there's somebody else's influence that wants to be interjected, right? Imposed upon people, or the ideology creep in. There are certain groups right now that have a boatload of influence, I should say influence, which is an interesting term, influencer, which they also use in social media, but was also used in the past, way before computers, way before everything, that they called the people with a lot of resources or dividend, influencers, because their word became so widely respected by local people or outside the area, people who would do business with that area, so on and so forth. So if they had like a lot of land, a lot of product, a lot of money, they would become someone that people would listen to, and that thus the title influencer. So like when you shift into that, you start to look at what these people are doing and the influence there, and it looks like possibly after the same thing, like I want to stop this influence and impose another influence, or I would like to introduce another influence. But the way to do it is an open debate, is to just to do, I don't know, what a wild concept. How about let's just do things right for a change for a while, guys? I think this shit is not working out, you know what I mean? Like, so but nevertheless, yeah, so you have to look at that too, you know what I'm saying? So man, it brings up a lot of questions, I'm sure, in your mind about like, you could probably put a couple brain cells to it and have your own ideas. I know that I do. I'm not going to express those right now for, particular reasons, right? And but nevertheless, yeah, I just thought that the timing was interesting, and also that if, let's say that we are in a scenario like with the saying that we get invaded on our soil, right? Like, what if it comes from certain factions from within and certain groups that are kind of having odds with one another, right? And then they hire certain help here and there, they outsource and things of that nature, which isn't too far fetched, because if you look in things in the past, you kind of see how one hand rubs the other somewhere. And I'm not making any kind of assumptions or pointing a finger at any particular party or any group or anyone, but I'm just looking at it, observing, in my angle of observance. This is, my brain can go there if I want to question, like, that's interesting. How would this be done? Why would this be done? The timing, I consider all these things. But yeah, man, continue to be aware, right? And man, how about we go with the love, though? The love vibes, the trust vibes. I've done other videos expressing, like, oh, if people don't think they can speak, right, then there's no communication. We know that those are like often traits in dysfunctional relationships as well, like, the other traits that were expressed in the previous video, so on and so forth. So without that, though, you can have no communication. You can have no trust. Without trust, you can have no vulnerability, because people will be scared to open up. Thus, you can have no communication, no relationships, no friendships, nothing. And another video I've done, an older one, talking about how you can create a hellscape that will be one step closer to what you would call a hellscape, as other things I've expressed some of the qualities of a place like hell would be, that you can't trust anyone. Light is snuffed out, looked at as weakness or something to be had that's been lost for a long time. So you'll have very parasitic type situations where that energy will be trying to be robbed from you. And so these patterns are all kind of interlinked, you know what I mean? So best believe, if someone tries to do things by just violence alone and can't do things in the light and have to do it in shadows, then believe your new boss is going to be worse than your old boss. You know what I'm saying? Like, no doubt. And I think for a while we've had more of the meet the new boss, same as the old boss. But in this particular situation, it'll be even worse, and it'll be a tyrant, a despotist, as they would call him, despot, right? And these people seek for control, dominance, and oppression. And best believe, man, it'll be way worse. And this place will look way worse. It will just be way worse. Like, you wouldn't believe, like, all empires have fallen with this kind of stuff, and it has never been good up until somewhat of the recent years, where these nations are starting to unravel stuff and try to stand up on their own and get some things going. So it gets tricky, because in some places, in some ways, there's inevitabilities from timing and misdoings in the past. But we just hope that we course correct and don't keep repeating the same stupid mistakes that keep us in the hamster wheel, or going backwards lower, right? Going backwards lower. There's just nothing for anyone, and dealer took all kind of thing. And there's some more stuff that was rattling around in my head there for a second, but I just hope that I just wanted to share them thoughts, express a different angle, or my angle, on the situation. And I know it's not going to be like the most pristine, but I'm just doing my part. You know what I'm saying? And shouts to everybody that's out there trying to make it through these crazy times. Definitely the training wheels are possibly coming off. If you see civil discourse, and we have these civil upheavals and rivalries and stuff like that, then I would think that a lot of things will change quickly, especially if we go into all these financial disorder problems as well. It's all about the skills that you have to use. They are all valuable. Definitely put those things to use. Some people were saying better learn how to grow your own food. All those things. Yes, I was gonna do a video on what do you know? What do you really know? Like, what do you know how to do? useful skills. What are useful skills, right? I was going to do a video on that. I think I'm still going to try to do that, but I feel like people are going to start jumping all over that. There's a lot of the what do you call it, like the survival type guys, and stuff like that. They're going to be jumping all over this right now, um, as well. I believe, you know what I'm saying. It would make a lot of sense. It's kind of like a given. You know what I mean? Judging the time is setting off their spidey sense. And the soldiers too. I'm pretty sure of it. Like anybody who has dealt with, civil and I don't know how to say it, but basically, these strategic type of scenarios and stuff, I'm sure their spidey sense is going off. That training is kicking in there saying, wait a minute, what's going on? All right, get this together, get this together. You know what I mean? So I think like we could take a page out of that book a little bit and try to do what we can, as individuals and as a communities, and pull together in a positive way and focus on, progress. Focus on progress. You know, because there's going to be enough nonsense. So we could already see that too. And it's everywhere. And it's everywhere. So anyway, man, I'm going to get out of here. I don't want to ramble for too long. I thought this video would be shorter than it is, but it's a little bit longer. Apparently, I probably could say a lot more, but I'm just going to cut it off here. But anyway, man, I just hope you thought that was interesting. I thank you for coming along on this journey with me any and every time. And definitely check out all the music. Last time I forgot to mention the project Theta Mob. Theta Mob with me in ill tone, monotone. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, man, it's a dope project. It's different. It's kind of like a pop electronica project. Same thing with Cosmic Rock Box, me and Gila the Chef. It's a different combination. And it's like more of like a alternative pop experimental electronica type of um, project. They both have different feels, but yeah, check out Cosmic Rock Box, check out Theta Mob, check out Bar Sweat and Years mixes, check out The Almighty Grind, check out all of my music catalog, King A.D.S, check out Legacy Family, check out all my talk videos and A.D.S Talks playlist. Just come along for the ride. Let's stay in tune. Let's stay connected. And until the next one, man, I love y'all, and see you next time. Peace.